Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Laura and today I'm back with a review of all the 4 new Rom&nd Better Than Palette. Yes, I'm always confused with those names. Anyways, I filmed 4 looks with where I use each of these palettes, and before we start I just give you a basic overview. Now we have 4 palettes. As I said before, we have palette number 1, Pampas Garden, which looks like this. Everything is in this clear packaging. It looks very pretty. This is like, for me, a corally warm spring palette. Very pretty palette. Out of all of them, I feel most drawn to this one because, you know, it's spring palette and it's really pretty. I like it, and it's a little bit pinkish, peaches. I love this. And then we have palette number 2. It's Mahogany Garden. Same packaging, just a little bit more brown tone, and as you can see, you have a variety of browns. Some warmer tones, some a little bit cooler. Yes, I really like this palette too, design wise, because, you know, I'm basic and I love my neutrals. Yes, we have also the palette number 3. It's Rosebud, and this is like a girl theme. This is like a pinky palette which has cool tone pinks and also warm tone pinks. I really enjoy this one too. I like those color stories, as you know me. If you have been on this channel for a long time, that's me. And then we have a very special palette. This is palette number 4. It's Dusty Fog Garden, and yes, as you can see, hello. Yeah, now I get it up. As you can see, this is an all matte palette, and it's very cool toned, foggy, smoky eye look palette. I have never seen something like this before, especially when it comes to Kbeauty, but very interesting. I bought this palette in a store in Hong Kong. You can get them in YesStyle, but the shipping takes pretty long. All those palettes have pressed glitters inside, which are very hard to get off. I just say that as a warning. If you don't like pressed glitters, they all have one besides of this one. And yeah, without me further talking, let's just get started with the looks. As you can see, we will first start with Mahogany Garden. Yes, I really like this palette. I really like neutrals, so I first start with setting my eyelid, and then I will gradually darken up the look a bit, because, you know, this palette is the layout is kind of like gradually getting darker, and I really like this kind of concept. Yes, as you see, I'm trying to build it up, make it darker, especially on the edges, and then I always add some glitter at the end, and I will apply an eyeliner with the darkest shade. So that's actually the whole look. Yes, keep watching if you want to see the whole thing, how everything blends, but yes. I'm trying to put some glitter under my eye too, but this glitter is so intense, so I had to remove a bit because I didn't anticipate that it is so intense. And yes, if you're wondering what is on the side of my eyes, I have a pimple patch there. Just that you notice, because yeah, we have to get rid of the pimples also during the day. And yes, you can see me, I'm going really strong with the glitter everywhere. I personally not the biggest fan of this huge chunky glitter. I wish I wouldn't have applied it, because before I liked it more than after, and it's really hard to remove this glitter, and yes, I feel like it irritates my eyes. The last thing I'm gonna do is apply the darkest shade as an eyeliner, and that was I tell you guys, this was kind of hard, but yes, I did it. I managed to do it anyways, and then we are done already. next palette we're gonna do is the Pampas Garden one, and personally I love this color story so much. It's such a springy palette with the corals and the pinks. I have to say though, compared to the Mahogany palette, this is a little bit more powdery. You have a lot of kickback, and I don't think the shades are as powdery, and the glitters are not the best for this palette. Kind of hard because the lightest glitter is a little bit glittery. I don't know how to tell it, but it's a hard glitter, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm also not the biggest fan of the chunky glitters. I wish they would have chosen different glitter shimmers for this palette. However, this palette has amazing mattes, and yes, the look comes out really pretty. And yes, I will just, as before, gradually darken up the look, because I feel like this is what you are supposed to do with these palettes. That's why they have all the shades in different tones, going deeper and deeper. And then I will add some glitter, and then I will also apply the darkest shade as an eyeliner, because I'm really into this recently. I don't know why, and I hope you enjoy it. As you can see, the glitter is not as intense as I wish it would be, or like the shimmer. I always say glitter, but nevertheless, it's really pretty. I got glitter everywhere though, it's crazy. So we are now moving on with the Dusty Fog Garden. I feel like this is the most special palette out of all of them. I have never seen something like that in Kbeauty before. I think I said that already. And yes, personally I have a little bit of a hard time to figure out what to do, because I would always add a shimmer. You know me guys, I'm a shimmer girl, and I don't like the all matte look that much. Yes, it's a very cool toned dark palette. I really had troubles to think about what I do besides a classical smoky eye look, I guess. Yes, but nevertheless, I need to tell you that those shades are kind of powdery. Sometimes if you watch me really closely applying this eyeshadow, you can see the powder flying around. Yes, it's a little bit, I don't think the pigmentation, or like let's say the quality of the shadows, is as good as the Mahogany palette. For me, the Mahogany palette has the best quality out of all of those palettes with the Rosebud palette. So yes, if you don't like powdery shades, maybe not the best for you. And yes, what I wanted to tell you, I will just, as before, gradually build it up, make it deeper, and then apply an eyeliner with the darkest shade. And yeah, no glitter, because this palette has none, even though I'm really tempted to add something glittery or shimmery. And yes, have fun. And we are already at the Rosebud Garden palette. I really like this color scheme. It's all pinky, and this will be the palette I will be wearing today. I have already used this palette quite a bit, so I can tell you I really like it. Yes, and I will do it the same as before. I will just gradually build it up, make it darker, add some glitters, and apply the eyeliner with the darkest shade. And yes, out of all of them, I feel like this has one of the best qualities. together with the Mahogany palette. I feel this blends really nicely. It has a good variety of shades. You have also a shade you can put under your eyebrows and in your inner corner, so I'm really happy that it is a complete palette, as I would say it is. And yes, So when I was working with those palettes, I feel like I had some issues with some palettes. Now let me start with the order I applied it. This palette has one of the best qualities. Among the four of them, I feel like this has the best quality in terms of blendability and how easy it is to use. It has this chunky glitter, but the rest of the glitters, this is also very glittery, like it's really harsh glitter, but those two glitters are absolutely beautiful and the mattes are blended very easily. I really like this palette. It's a standalone neutral palette and I feel like out of all the four you can get, this has the highest quality. Then we move on with Pampas Garden. And I have to say, I was like most intrigued by this one. Like I thought this is so beautiful for spring, but I feel like it is a little bit more powdery than the more neutral Mahogany Garden palette. And I feel it's a little bit harder to work with because we don't have a shade which is like, this shade is very glittery too. It's extremely hard and I would wish they would have put like one highlighting shade for the eye, like for the inner eye and under the eyebrows, which is not so glittery and so harsh. Other than that, this glitter is very fine, it's very beautiful, but you don't have like that wow effect which other palettes had. All in all, I feel like the quality is not as good as the other one. It's still a good palette. I feel like you have to get used to it. It's just not perfect. It's just not perfect. I feel like they could have done a little bit better. Not the best for this one. Then we have this one, and yes, what should I say? I like this palette. However, I feel like some shades in here are very redundant. I mean, those whole gradient shades in here too, there are also some redundant shades. But here I really feel like sometimes you don't really see the difference on the lid anymore, and I really miss a glitter, or not a glitter, a shimmer in there. Like, I'm a shimmer girl and it's really hard for me. I mean, I understand it, it's like more for the foggy looks. I don't really gravitate towards looks like this which are all really darkish. It's a very special palette and I'm happy I have this one in my collection, and the mattes blended out really well and it's a good palette, don't get me wrong. It's just not something that I gravitate towards. Yes, that's all for it. And then we have the Rosebud Garden, and I feel like this comes in the same category as this one. Quality wise, this is one of the better palette, and the layout makes more sense to me. Yes, because we have also, like, you can use this shade in your inner corner and under your eyebrows, and you have like this thick glittery shade. I don't know if we need that, but you know, Rom&nd really likes to put glittery shades in there. But I like this shimmer a lot, this shimmer and this rusty brown rose shade. It's very beautiful. I feel like this palette makes the most sense with this one together. And I feel like it's one of the easiest to lose, and quality wise it's better than the Pampas Garden one. So those two are definitely my favorite out of this collection. And yes, that's what I have to say. So guys, this is it. I really enjoyed filming this, but my eyes are dead right now. I hope you had fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon in another video of mine.